Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're zeroing in on the massive, beating heart of the modern power plant, the turbogenerator. Whether you're dealing with thermal, nuclear, gas, or combined cycle plants, this is it. This is the magnificent piece of engineering where the actual magic happens. It's the ultimate bridge, transforming raw, brute mechanical energy into the electricity that literally lights up our cities. Okay, let's dive into this because the sheer scale and high-stakes nature of this machine is absolutely staggering. We are talking about a colossal piece of equipment, spinning it up to 3,600 revolutions per minute and generating anywhere from 10 megawatts up to an unbelievable 2,000 plus megawatts. And it does all this operating at 98 to 99% efficiency. It's an incredible asset. But keeping a multi-million-dollar behemoth running safely at those blistering speeds without it literally tearing itself apart, well, that requires intense precision, a deep understanding of its components, and an absolutely ironclad maintenance strategy. Here is our roadmap for today's breakdown. We'll start with the anatomy of a generator, move into safety and lockout, then cover the maintenance schedule, critical systems, diagnostics, and wrap it all up with our final checklist. Section 1, Anatomy of a Generator. The heartbeat. So before we can even think about maintaining this beast, we need to fully understand how it transforms thermal energy into electricity. The whole operation happens in a highly controlled 6-step flow. First up, a heat source, like a boiler or a nuclear reactor, creates high-pressure steam. And I mean high pressure. We're talking 150 to 250 bar at temperatures well over 500 degrees Celsius. Second, this extreme steam slams into the turbine blades, spinning that shaft at 3,000 or 3,600 RPM, depending on your local grid frequency. Third, since the turbine shaft is directly coupled to the generator rotor, the rotor spins inside the stationary stator. Fourth, a DC excitation current creates a magnetic field around that rotor, cutting right across the stator conductors. Fifth, this induces a 3-phase AC voltage, usually between 11 and 24 kilovolts. And finally, step 6. A transformer steps that voltage way up, sometimes up to 765 kilovolts, so it can be blasted out over the transmission network. And this brilliantly illustrates Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction in action. Whenever a conductor cuts magnetic flux, an electromotive force is induced. To pull off that incredible electromagnetic feat, we've got 4 main components working in perfect harmony. You have the turbine, which is essentially the muscle, converting that raw steam into mechanical energy through high, intermediate, or low-pressure stages. Then you have the electrical core, the rotor and the stator. The rotor is the rotating part, usually a massive solid forged cylinder containing DC field windings to produce the magnetic field. The stator is the stationary outer frame holding the 3-phase copper windings that actually generate the electrical output. And finally, you have the excitation system. Think of this as the control center, which can be brushless or static, supplying the essential DC current to the rotor to maintain the generator's voltage. Section 2, Safety and Lockout Procedures. Taming the Beast. Now, because we are dealing with insanely high pressures, explosive gases, and massive rotational and electrical energy, safety here is quite literally a matter of life and death. So the crucial point is this. The non-negotiable first step before any pre-maintenance inspection begins is the strict application of lockout/tagout, or LOTO. This means applying physical locks and warning tags to every single energy source connected to the generator. We have to ensure there is absolute zero electrical and mechanical energy present before anyone gets near it. But it doesn't stop at LOTO. There are several vital protective measures you have to follow. You absolutely must physically verify zero electrical energy before touching a thing. And because these large generators use hydrogen gas for cooling, which we'll talk about more in a bit, you have to safely purge that explosive hydrogen and rigorously test for gas mixtures before you even think about cracking open the casing. You're wearing standard PPE, right? Arc-rated clothing, helmets, heavy hearing protection. If you're entering the generator enclosures, confined space procedures immediately apply. And look, these components weigh tons. Using calibrated lifting tools for heavy parts is an absolute must to prevent catastrophic mechanical accidents. No shortcuts here. Section 3, the maintenance schedule. A day in the life. Now, a turbogenerator is built for a long service life, but only if you meticulously follow a chronological maintenance schedule. Let's move to and see how this builds from simple daily routines all the way up to massive annual outages. Daily, your operators are hawkishly checking bearing temperatures, stator temperatures, and vibration levels. Weekly, the focus shifts to physical, hands-on inspections. You're checking for oil or hydrogen leaks, cleaning the generator area, and inspecting cooling fans. Monthly, we get into the more complex electrical tests, like testing protection relays, checking bearing oil quality, and crucially, measuring insulation resistance, or IR, alongside the polarization index to check for any moisture creeping in. Annually, that's when the plant schedules a major outage for full rotor and stator overhauls, winding resistance tests, alignment checks, and a deep cleaning of the hydrogen coolers. Section 4. Critical System Inspections. The generator doesn't work alone. It's supported by highly engineered auxiliary systems. If they fail, the generator basically destroys itself. The most critical of these is the cooling system, and the method you use depends entirely on the generator's size. For smaller units, say up to 100 megawatts, air cooling does the job. For medium to large generators, between 100 and 1,000 megawatts, hydrogen cooling is the standard, because it creates far less friction and cools much better than air. But for the true giants, generators over 500 megawatts, they actually use water cooling. Think about that for a second. It's an incredible engineering feat, where pure, demineralized water, which doesn't conduct electricity, is literally pumped directly through hollow high-voltage stator conductors to rip massive amounts of heat away. Absolutely wild. For those hydrogen-cooled units we just mentioned, there is this fascinating symbiotic relationship between two main systems. On one hand, you have the hydrogen cooling system itself, utilizing 98 to 99% pure hydrogen to provide highly efficient cooling with very low windage loss. But hydrogen is incredibly explosive if it leaks out and mixes with oxygen. Enter the seal oil system. Its entire job in life is to maintain a precise pressure difference, pushing oil against the seals to safely trap that hydrogen inside the casing. So the cooling system gives you the efficiency, while the seal oil system guarantees your safety. During those big annual outages we talked about, these critical systems undergo intense forensic scrutiny. Stator inspections include incredibly precise air gap measurements and wedge tightness tests to ensure those massive magnetic forces haven't vibrated anything loose over the year. Rotor inspections focus heavily on electrical integrity, performing earth fault testing and field winding insulation checks. And finally, bearing inspections are just vital. Journal and thrust bearings are thoroughly checked, oil quality is tested, and all that continuous vibration monitoring data is analyzed. Catching a worn bearing early is exactly how you prevent catastrophic shaft misalignment. Section 5. Diagnostics and Troubleshooting. So, when an alarm trips in the control room, engineers have to treat these faults as complex mechanical puzzles that need to be solved instantly to prevent downtime. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how incredibly direct the mechanical cause and effect relationship is. If you see high vibration, your immediate suspects are rotor imbalance, shaft misalignment, or worn bearings. The solution? Dynamic balancing and realignment. High bearing temperatures, you look straight at poor lubrication or oil contamination, and you immediately check the oil system. Hydrogen leakage means your seal oil pressure is low or the seals are physically damaged, requiring immediate pressure restoration. It's a highly logical game of connect the dots. And honestly, it's the exact same logic on the electrical side. If the stator is overheating, you've either got a cooling system failure, a blocked cooling passage, or you're just overloading it. If your electrical tests show low insulation resistance, the primary culprits are usually moisture, contamination, or just the natural aging of the materials. The fix there requires deep cleaning, drying, and performing dedicated insulation treatments. Even something like excessive noise has a direct mechanical cause, usually pointing straight to loose components or bearing damage that requires immediate tightening or replacement. Section 6. Final Maintenance Checklist. All right, we've covered the anatomy, the safety, the schedules, and the diagnostics. If you take literally nothing else away from this explainer, remember these core best practices for longevity and efficiency. 1. Never, ever compromise on safety and force strict LOTO and hydrogen protocols. 2. Perform continuous hawkish monitoring of vibration and bearing temperatures. 3. Execute regular electrical testing, particularly IR, PI, and earth faults, to catch insulation degradation before it becomes a failure. 4. Maintain absolutely pristine seal oil and cooling systems, because if they fail, the generator fails. And 5. Conduct rigorous annual mechanical checks, including those vital air gap and wedge tightness tests. At the end of the day, the turbogenerator truly is the beating heart of the power plant. Operating at 98 to 99% efficiency, it is an absolute engineering marvel, designed for decades of nonstop service. But because it sits at the very center of power generation, there is zero room for error. If this machine fails, the grid goes dark. That makes its proper maintenance one of the ultimate, highest stakes jobs in the entire industrial world. So, I will leave you with this final thought to reflect on. Whether you are an engineering student or running a plant yourself, look closely at the systems you rely on every day. Are your maintenance protocols rigorously keeping your generator spinning at peak efficiency? Or are you secretly heading for a costly, catastrophic stall? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning!
High-pressure steam enters the turbine, spinning its blades. This converts heat energy into powerful mechanical rotation. This produces clean electrical power for the grid.